I still worry about the Ravage, like the Tide. If you don't kill him or catch him in the Chrono, they've got an easy way outside to kind of make it useless without the BKB on the Void. So Boom's already keeping your bases covered there. We'll see though. I think with the offlane pick, they should be picking up the Dreamo Cell here next. Probably pocketing Mikato to last. We'll see what exactly they want to invest in here.
It's going to be an interesting pickup for Boom, because they're either going to reveal their mid or their safe lane, but it is probably going to be the safe lane. Up against the Void, it can be a little bit tough, but I wouldn't really blame them for... They bring the Wraith King out again, which makes enough sense, because you are up against the Void, so... We have seen this before, though, John, and the last time they tried to run the Wraith King was just a couple days ago. Now, mind you, it was up against Among Us, so it didn't really leave them much chance of putting on a performance with that Wraith King, because Among Us were just way too good of a team at that time. We'll see how they continue, though. If I was TNC right now, though, John, I would probably be looking at Armel's hero, and I'd say he probably should either take the Invoker, like you pointed out earlier on, or I would take the Kunkka again. You're going to need the wave clear for the Chen. You want the control in these team fights. They ban out the Kunkka, interestingly enough. I guess Boom could have taken it themselves up against the Void. It would have been very effective, so fair enough. If it's not the Kunkka, I wouldn't mind seeing the Invoker. I think you were right in saying it is a decent pick. You Rupture, someone doesn't want to run away. What do? You just Sunstrike them. They're just standing there, waiting for the Rupture. Just throw out the Sunstrike. It'll probably help. But Boom Esports, they ban out the Storm now.
I am a bit worried leaving the Invoker in the pool. Every team has been banning Invoker when they see the Void. I think it's a pretty safe pick for TNC. EMP is going to be really good as well. So our Wraith King, until the level 20 talent, you're not going to live. You're not going to have those 2 lives. So Boom, have to be a bit cautious. TNC might just go for it. It's such a clear pick here. Unless they have something down mid for Mikado coming out that just dominates an Invoker. We know the Invoker is early laning stage, maybe level 1 to 3 is really, really bad. Level 4 to 5 is somewhat manageable, but it's not the most pleasant hero to play in mid. Considering those funky power spikes, I think Mikado might have something. And
they ban out Kunkka and Invoker on TNC. Okay. Well, I thought that would be their options, but apparently they just don't want to play against them. So what's left for Armel?
Quap? Puck?
Puck is good as well. But you're not really dealing with the Wraith King. Well, yeah, you're not really dealing with the issue of the Wraith King. That's the problem. You could play a very snowbally kind of lineup. With the Puck, for example, you get Dream Coil into a Blood Right. You can kick them out of the Dream Coil. And now it is very valuable to pick up Puck because you have an Ember Spirit there. So you can just kind of lock him down with the Silence and the Dream Coil once you have Aghanim Scepter. It must be a Puck pick.
Yeah, I think it's got to be. If not the Puck, then maybe the Quap.
Okay.
Maybe
but Quap gets locked down by the chains of the Ember. That's my only problem there. It's like, so does the Puck, but it does feel like the Puck is a bit more slippery than the Quap anyway.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
It is. I think... I know, it's just so hard. It's just so strange that they banned those two. I get the Kunkka. 100% I get it, because, Void does not want to get torrented and boated. You've got the Ravage already from the Tide. You've got a Wraith King. The Kunkka would have been so valued to get even more tankiness coming in. What a Chen. Now, that's pretty ridiculous sustain. That's what TNC love.
Slark.
What? Armel Slark mid?
Let's wait and see.
Yeah. Armel Slark mid.
It works well up against the Ember, right? You're not really going to lose that mid matchup now up against the Ember Spirit.
I have issues here, though. Like, Gabby, I mean, we've seen his Chronos. We've seen him put it on the edge when he catches people, so there is still chances for Armel to get some damage in, but there's no synergy beyond that. Beyond having the Chrono on the edge. There's no way the Slark can contribute in the Chrono otherwise. Even KP, like, the Blood Rights it's really greedy as well. Like, this looks good on paper because of the lane matchups, but Slark and faces Void, they need farm.
They do.
It's
Boom Esports. I mean, they might be sitting there laughing right now about this this draft. I'm not sure. I mean, I understand the mid matchup. Pounce is going to make it hard for Makoto to get out. Obviously, Essence Shift is extremely good up against the Ember matchup. Armel should theoretically dominate the lane. Does also work nicely into the Wraith King because you just steal stats away. But
yeah.
Obviously, with 2 lives, that just means more stats for Armel. But can they weather the storm with the Chen? That's my issue here. Like, can they make it to the mid game with a net worth advantage to be able to fight up against Boom Esports?
Yeah, it's a hard one. I think there's so much more pressure on March and Tim's here to make that space in the map. So we've got to see successful rotations. We've got to see some, maybe not kills, but lane dominance. You know, you need to get those last hits up in Gabby. You need them up as well in Armel because one of them's going to have to be active, and I can't see it being Gabby. I think Gabby is just a lot more about the farm game. And on Faces Void, you do want to build up a lot more. There's potential for a Slark to move early. Maybe we see the Echo Saber build up. Maybe an SNY fast, or even drums in the Slark, just to get that activity early on. As you mentioned, there's value there because you've got really tanky heroes to kind of right-click down. But TNC, you know, they've got to step up here game number 2. Last chance to force a game 3 out and, you know, stay in the upper bracket. Don't want to be dropping early. It's just a longer route up if you do get down to lower bracket. So got to pull out their A game, and at the least it's confusing. I mean, I guess Lark mid by itself, you know, isn't actually too odd because we've seen it a couple of times. It's just when you've got a Void, it's just so strange. I still can't wrap my head around that kind of choice in the end.
I mean, the whole idea is going to be that Gabby is able to just farm while Armel should still be looking to make space on the Slark. But like, what itemization he's going to be able to go for to be able to roam around with his team and actually fight? Obviously, we can see the treads and the wand and the wraith bands queued up, but that's not really enough to consider roaming across the map.
No.
You want something like at least an Echo Saber. Maybe you can go into the Shadow Blade if you really want for the Slark. We'll wait and see. I mean, we're going to find out in maybe 5-10 minutes what the itemization for Armel will be. But, for now, at least with the betting odds from Loopbet, John, they are the favorites in this matchup, TNC. So we'll see how much that changes as the game goes on. Lane, I thought there might have been a bit of a scuffle over the bounties, but it will be a 2 for 2. Gabby's just asking for a high 5 out from FBZ, but FBZ is not going to give him one. We'll give the tip over to Dream Missile instead, and we'll get this game 1 underway. Boom Esports win this one out, John. They're through to the next round. TNC, they want to force this to a game number 3, and if they cannot, they are going to get knocked down to the lower bracket.
Yeah, it's a lot in the line. I believe, of course, the loser of this has to play another series today as well. You have to factor that in. You do not want to go through potentially 6 games today. Just make things easier for yourself in the top lane. Of course, you've got the Wraith King along with the Chen, with Dream Missile and Keskute, up against KP and Tims on the Bloodseeker, Earth Spirit. They do have some good presence here. Like you can see KP, Blood right out, shoves the wave in, forcing Dream Missile all the way back to his tier 1. And Tims, it's an Earth Spirit. He can just go for that easy pull, disrupt the wave, get their EXP. So this should be a better time than game 1. They should at least find their EXP gain here, and I'm sure Dream Missile won't suffer too much under the tier 1, but you're going to have what you want in this lane from TNC anyway.
KP is going to be slightly cautious here. Gets stunned up, he's going to go for a TP play out, and is going to die. You cannot underestimate the damage of that Harpy Stormcrafter, and in all fairness to KP, Keskute did get very, very lucky with the 1-minute spawn up on those neutrals. It's a lot of damage. 140 on the initial jump every 4 seconds.
Oh yeah, it's pretty sickening. And Dream Missile as well. He must have gotten a couple of lucky crits to get those skeletons up. So just a lot of luck lining up. TNC's gonna have to watch himself still down mid. Got Armel up against Mikado, and it is a much better lane for Armel. It's a melee lane for the Slark, so he gets to really flex his muscles every time you trade right clicks. It's just favorable for the Slark. So if he maintains this pace, I think you're going to be very pleased with yourself. Mikado's just got to be a bit safe. He's still got to find his farm. You have to be wary if that Slark growing big down this game.
You will have to be, yeah. I think Makoto's just going to try and get his Flame Guard levels up and maybe rotate to the jungle. So the Slark matchup is just such a rough one to have. We'll wait and see though, Makoto. He might be able to turn this lane around. It's just very, very tough for him as Armel's going to go for a pounce, take more Essence Shift away from Makoto. That'll mean that Makoto just cannot trade farm and harass. Of course, down at the bot lane, FBZ, he's going to be up against March and Gabby. And for now, he is all alone, as we did see a TP out from Hyde. And he's actually going to TP into the mid lane now on the Tiny to give Makoto a full bottle up on that Ember. And he is going to need that bottle. Very, very, it's going to be very effective in trying to sustain himself in this laning matchup. Of course, those power runes at the 4-minute mark is going to be extremely important for Boom.
Yeah, you gotta keep track on it for Mikado. Not as important for Armel. Doesn't have a bottle up or anything. Doesn't even have it queued up. And perhaps, you know, would hide around. It's going to force Armel to play safer. You are sacking your offlane, though. Like, looking back at FVZ, it's been a harder time for him. That's down to March having so much more presence on the Veno. Gabby's got a lot of last hits up as well. So, for the most part in this laning phase, I think TNC, they're meeting the objectives they want in the early game, as long as they maintain the space and kind of don't go into the aggression of Boom, you should be set for a decent scaling up into the mid game.
No, getting low, but they missed the avalanche. Hyde. Oh, he got the kill anyway, but Hyde, had he not missed that avalanche in the mid lane, would have been able to get the kill there for Makoto. Makoto's not going to be happy about that one. So that is going to give Armel an even bigger advantage now. He is level 5 in comparison to Makoto's level 4.
Yeah, it's a bit of a misplay. Good punishment out, and really good timing from Tims as well. So he snags out the illusion room. Fortunately, since the cores did die, you have a full bottle in Mikado anyway, so it's not too big of a loss. But this level lead now, and the 1 point in permanent agi Armel gets, does set our Slark up for a much better time. So gonna have to have Hyde go back bot, where FBZ is just copying too much. Maybe they get something done here. You've got level 3 on Tiny. It's level 2 Avalanche with a toss. You can get some damage up.
And March going to cop it first, but he does not get the toss off, which means Hyde now going to be chased down by Gabby. However, FBZ going to try and force a team fight. March survives on 5 HP. Very, very lucky times there for March on the Veno. He'll just back himself up and try to stack up this camp, I believe. And well, the bounty runes should just be going the way of Boom Esports. March cannot contest it.
Yeah, it's gonna be an even 2 trade. You did have KezQ trying to sneak one up, but Tim's sort of roll, of course, on point, manages to even it out. So no big losses yet. KezQ though, he's got 2 harpies now. He's looking for a rotation, but Hyde.
Yeah, he goes down. Hyde. March stuck around with that low HP pool, and Hyde just abuses him for it. And yeah, like you said, John, 2 harpies is pretty nice for KezQ. He's gonna be laughing. And he's not really in the lane right now, so he's not really able to abuse it too much onto KP, but he's slowly going to make his way there. And poor old KP just can't lane against that.
No, it's way too difficult. I love how TNC's planting these deep wards once more, though. So they're going to be keeping track of how Boom farms. They have noticed that Mikado has been forced into the jungle a lot earlier than you'd want. So Armel's got this free run. He's got more last hits than a Raid King. And that just sets Armel up for a really good time. Although they might be setting up for a movement here.
Yeah, Hyde, he gets TP'd up top, but he was spotted by the tower. Tim's going to roll in. Avalanche, however, going to cancel that off. They want to chase him down, but Hyde, he needs to get a toss-off here onto Tim's, looking for the opportunity. Ooh. Look at the damage coming out from these these damn neutral creeps. Hyde will pick up the kill, and now they want KP on the Bloodseeker, and he runs straight into him. He's just waiting for the next avalanche. KezQ's trying to block him off, but they will not be able to get him. Instead, they are going to try for that tier 1 top tower.
Yeah,
Dream yourself. couldn't de-aggro the tower, apparently.
Oh, he was thinking about not leveling that ring. It's like, nah, let's get for the reset. They will get a tier 1. So Boom, that's a really fast push up top. Not down bot where we're used to seeing it. Gonna force a response.
Gabby gonna come up now with the chrono and will expend it, of course. He knows that there's only one life, but where's your damage? Armel, that's the damage we're looking for. Tim's also gonna jump in. Dreamer Cell still trying to make a run for it, but he does not have any help coming in. He's going to have to get himself out of this one. He's still trying. The tier 1 tower now going to be there to protect him as the more TPs are coming in. They've got the Ravage up. Dreamer Cell, he's still alive. The Ravage comes in, and now they can try to turn the team fight back onto TNC. So they will kill off Tim's. Oh, and Dreamer Cell, he trash talks him on the way out.
Oh my god. That is a beautiful bait. They fall for it, hook, line, and sinker. He walks back home. This build from Dreamocell, Mike, it's really confident. He's going for the Radiance. Now, we tend to talk about the timing of this being sensitive, so Dreamocell has to keep that farm up. But if you do get that at, say, I don't know, 14 minutes for the Radiance rush on the Wraith King, that's going to be really impactful, considering that TNC does have 3 right-click heroes. So that's going to stop a lot of your damage.
Hyde finds Gabby, but needs to be careful. Gabby's hitting very hard right now, especially with that Mask of Madness up. Hyde trying to steal the creep away, but won't be so lucky. Gabby will go back to his side of the jungle now. So wants a 5 Boom Esports' way. Look, on the brighter side for TNC, of course, you did point out earlier, but Makoto is not having a good game. He was forced to rotate into the jungle on the Ember. But he is catching up. Like, he's just behind Gabby by 100 gold. And considering the fact that he had to jungle, like TNC had to in Game 1, that's kind of impressive that Makoto is still 4th in net worth.
Yeah, although Keski bot
being caught out, so they aren't going to TP in to try and help him out. So Armel able to pick up a nice kill there on the Slark with the assistance of Tims. That'll be their second kill of the game, but Tims might actually be dead. No, he'll roll away.
Oh boy. Their Harpies are ridiculous. Why did he have 3 mana per second base regen? Why?
Well, I don't know, John. They just do it. It's how it was intended. Hey, don't forget, a year or 2 ago, back when people realized how broken these Harpies were, they had like a 400 mana pool. So they could spam those lightnings 8 times.
Oh, yeah, it's way more disgusting. Still, you know, TNC, they are on a pretty good footing here. They're not too far behind. It's a 1k lead for Boom. Inconsequential. At this point, they're hitting their leveled spikes. They're hitting their farm spikes. Gabby with a mom has been farming a lot more efficiently. Armel's been given space, and he is going Diffusal on the Slark. So you have that mana burn coming in to deal with Dreamocell. Dreamocell's got to space himself out perfectly. Has to be aware that's going to be coming out. Might be a scuffle over these runes.
Fought Gabby, they've got the avalanche toss out from Hyde. Gabby gonna go down. At the very least, Armel does kill off Kezcute again, so that's sort of good news out for TNC. But you've lost Gabby on the Void now. He's 4th in net worth behind Makoto on the Ember. That is very bad news.
It definitely is. That's not what you want to be seeing out there. And, of course, all these movements have given so much space to Dreamocell. So the Radiance timings can be on point if they don't slow this Wraith King down. I think you've got to be very cautious about that. Again, an early Radiance timing is going to ruin your right-click cores. Going to force them to find a way of getting some true strike in, which you don't necessarily want to farm too early on.
Alright, Chrono going to be expended for the tiny kill. They're going to be able to get it. And they'll try to secure the tier 1 tower. Kodo going to be into defend, but he's going to be a bit cautious about the rupture. No, KB doesn't even have it. But they'll get the tier 1 mid. And it looks like TNC will be satisfied with that, and they will back off now.
It's a big tower to take, so TNC actually finding some really good objectives here. They get to dig deeper into that triangle. They've got this nice forward ward. Keep eyes on the farming patterns of Boom. So they really are playing a lot cleaner here, TNC. There's still a 2k lead for Boom. So I don't think they're too worried. They understand that they have to cook up a bit more, especially on Dreamocell before they can pump the aggression out. FBC is also waiting for his blink up. They're just kind of buying space. They just have to be cautious because this is space that TNC also wants, as their draft is starting to get some good farm in. Again, that Diffusal on Armel, it's not too far off. He's about Maybe 1,000 gold away, although.
Oh, Armel's been caught. He does get the Shadow Dance off in time. Hyde, he'll miss the avalanche, but they know where Armel is. They'll toss him up in the air and they'll just kill him off.
Wow!
Oh, now they're going to go for that T1 bot tower. Bit of late timing here, but you've got the Chen starting to come up online now for Kescu. And this is about the point now where Boom Esports will slowly start to just take towers off TNC, especially once they have that Radiance up on Dream Missile, which is coming very soon.
Yeah, it's been a smooth ramp for Dream Missile. Again, he's not been punished much, if at all, and they should be able to go in for the defense. Mikado just TPs up, clears out the creep wave, so Gabby, by his lonesome self, probably not going to be enough to find a tier 1. Doesn't have Chrono up for another minute as well, so Boom should be able to keep that objective in check. They're planting some offensive wards here to keep track of TNC's farming patterns, so they're going to be able to take control of that jungle if you're not careful. At least with a mid-tier 1 still standing, TNC has better TP points there, but they've got to come to defend that if a push does come out, which, looking at Boom, I think they're just happy enough to pull back, farm up a little bit more, maybe scout out this Venomancer who's playing in their jungle.
Looks like they're about to as well. They're roaming in. Now March just going to walk his way out. The Plague Wards will give him nice vision over what Hyde's doing. Things are coming out towards that top lane where they seem to want to try and go onto Makoto, but he has remnants available, so there's not really much of a kill opportunity there. TNC, they're just still waiting on Gabby to finish off that MKB. He's got Chrono, he could try for Makoto. Looks to be a little bit nervous about potential remnant dodges, so he will not.
Yeah, this is a bit slower than you'd like. There is a blink up now as well here on Hyde, so you've got initiation potential from Boom on their Tiny. And, well, they're keeping good defense up. They are sitting on Ravage for a bit longer than we're used to. Again, we've seen Boom be really disciplined around their timings, but they haven't really emphasized the team fight here. They're just taking their time, farming up. I love that Mikado, well, he was queuing up a Desolator, but he does go for the Eul's next. Has his Blade Mail up, so even if you do catch the Ember in the Chrono, if he presses his buttons fast enough, you might not want to hit that target, and they do smoke up his 2 here.
They have, up towards that top lane, but look at FBZ with his positioning. It's very safe, but KB knew he cut down the tree and did find him, so they'll go for the Rupture and the Blood Rite. FBZ, he's just going to hold his ground. They'll kick him away, but you've already lost March there on the Venomancer now, thanks to Hyde. Makoto's coming in, and TNC, they just need to get out of here. They could try for the Chrono, but it's only going to be able to kill off 1 person. Tims would rather just leave. Hyde, still looking around, goes for a nice blink avalanche toss, and might just kill off Tims. He does barely get him. FBZ still has the Ravage, but Gabby will be able to actually kill off Hyde. So a 2-for-1 trade. Boom Esports coming out on top with that one. Chrono's still available, but looks like they aren't going to bother committing TNC. They're going to back off. Just wait for another day.
Yeah, it's not the biggest loss for both sides. They can just step back, farm up. They didn't have to commit any ults as well. Mind you, all if that's happening, Dream Missile's got free farm bot. That Radiance we talked about, Mike, recipe's up. It's being sent out. So we're looking at a 15.5-minute Radiance. Really good timing. And he can start joining fights.
That is really rough. And he's also going for the Blade Mail now as well. So just really shutting down the Slug and Gabby. And speaking of Armel, he goes down. Gabby still has the Chrono, but just doesn't have a good chance to use it.
Oh man, that's a freebie for Boom, finding a big core. They did expend Ravage, so I feel like Gabby had an opportunity to Chrono there. It's just so cautious because there's no synergy. It's all down to him to focus down. Dream Assault, he's got the Radiance, as we mentioned, so he can easily choose to join these fights. The Blade Mail you mentioned, not too far off, because he's being left to farm. Like, this is what TNC wants to do with her Faceless Void, but the Wraith King is allowed to do it instead. And that's not really what you want to be seeing here, especially since Armel did go Diffusal. So he wants to leverage the mana burn on a hero where it really counts. They will find a tier 1 top at the end, but that's a prolonged stall from Boom. It took way too long to take that tower out.
It was. And now a smoke up from Makoto and Hyde. They're going to spot out March. They might as well just blow him up here. They break the smoke. March is going to go down, and they're just going to run away. Nice, easy consolation kill for Boom. Hyde will happily take it on the Tiny. TNC, all they can do is just keep farming, right? You need the MKB up on Gabby. You know the Radiance is going to be there for Dream Missile. You can't chrono the Wraith King without the MKB up anymore. But even then, if Dream Missile gets the Blade Mail up and pops it before the chrono with the Radiance, you're just going to have a wasted chrono altogether. It's just a tough time for TNC. I just don't think this mid Slark has done enough to warrant picking up the Slark.
No, it's been way too farm heavy, and to be fair to TNC though, their farm distribution is still really even. I think if you start racking in more kills from RML, it starts to be worthwhile, and he is looking for an opportunity.
They're looking at the Chen mid lane, but there is quite a lot of hesitation. I can't blame them for hesitating because you don't know where FBZ is, you don't know where Hyde is, but now they do, so they'll try and go in onto FBZ. He doesn't have the Ravage up for another 15 seconds, but Hyde, a great toss out. Gabby, though, is going to go for the chrono, but he's been chained up. He can't even attack right now. He's going to keep trying after the tide, but FBZ's fine, and now they're going to turn Boom Esports. They have the Ravage in 10. Hyde is still going to die, but they want to take the fight. Makoto, he'll be ruptured up. There's your Magnetize with the kickback. FBZ still waiting for the right opportunity for that Ravage. Now he'll commit it through the Shadow Dance of RML and just waste the duration of the Shadow Dance. Makoto, he's going to have the control onto RML. The Dark Pact is still there, however, and they aren't able to kill anyone off yet. Dream Missile, he's falling low on the Wraith King. They might get the first life. Tim's trying, but will not be able to get it quite yet. Makoto now trying to back off. Bloodright is going to be able to get him. No, great sleight of fist dodge on that Bloodright. Mel losing so much HP. Now the Wraith Fire Blast onto March. Not really connecting, but Hyde gets the Avalanche toss back onto Gabby. Gabby's in trouble. He is going to die on the Void. The only thing that was holding Boom Esports back that whole time was these Venom wards that was slowing them up and not allowing them to close the gap. But eventually Hyde got in there for the toss back, and that'll be your tier 1 mid tower going down.
Boom is just so patient as well though. Like, you saw the timing of FBZ. They're not playing with the offensive Ravage this game. It's a switch up. It's a defensive Ravage. You mentioned it, to take away the impact of that Shadow Dance. Even the Chrono is just not that safe. Like, you catch the tide out. The spacing from Boom has just been so disciplined. Like, they are playing this perfectly now. TNC.
Oh, Tims.
Oh.
Yeah, he's dead. They can try to fight this one out if they want. They know there's no Ravage. Hyde is going to get targeted here by RML, and they also jump Makoto, but he'll remnant out. But he has been ruptured, so maybe they get the Ember Spirit here, or perhaps not. He's fusing up, Sleight of Fisting. Remnant is going to be out in time as well, and Hyde, he has the Avalanche back up, so RML has to be careful. They can reinitiate now. The Shadow Dance is gone. The chains around RML. He's getting way too low. Hyde's going to come in for an Avalanche. That's RML gone. Oh, TNC. It's not looking good, John. Not for TNC.
No, definitely not. I mean, man, we were talking about that MKB for Gabby. I thought it was done.
Nope.
He's still waiting for the Javelin. It's still 900 gold off. They're lacking a lot of damage here. We saw issues in the Chrono. And this is really down to the fact that the Chrono is almost always just going to be Gabby hitting. There is no follow-up. Maybe you get a Bloodright. Maybe you get a Gale or a Poison Nova. Maybe you get a Rock Kick, but that's not really much damage in the bigger picture. There has to be a bit more, and look at this.
BC's got Ravage in 10, but they'll go for the Avalanche first into the Remnants, and now the chain's out from Makoto. He commits the Chrono. He is not going to get Hyde. Bloodright, not going to kill him off either. They're going to try and turn, though, but you've got to watch out for that Ravage. FBZ has it up now. He could go back in after this silence. They're trying to fight with Makoto, but here comes FBZ. He's looking for it, although no. He holds out and now gets it out, and it's a big Ravage, but it's too late. Way too late from FBZ.
Yeah,
I'm not sure what he was waiting on. He had the 4-star.
I'm not sure. Maybe a bit of hesitation there. Really good of TNC. That's what they need. They need some punishment out like that. Find the supports with a Chrono. That's the heroes you can burst down. Dreamocell was not around. He didn't have a TP either. They punished that split up. And TNC, I mean, they still lose Gabby. but you found the important kills anyway. Armel's going to be very glad with that. He is working towards the Silver Edge. That break is going to be very important to get some additional damage out to these tanky heroes. They do trade out their tier 2 though. The bot tower is melted here, just a natural shove in. And there is still a 7k lead from Boom. TNC not quite out in the clear yet, but they are actually keeping up well. Like the only runaway here is Dreamocell. They are keeping up pace with Armel though.
Look at Dreamocell, he's just going to chase them down now with that haste rune. He's going to wait out the Dark Pack first from Armel. Armel's going to try and pounce, but now the Wraith Fire Blast is going to be out, and Dreamocell's just taunting them. Just taunting them.
Oh.
Wow. He's just, look at him run. Look at him run away from me.
Man.
I'm one person, and they're just running onto the Roshan.
He lost his courier for that, but if they get the Roche here, multiple lives and multiple heroes can be big for Boom. TNC, they can't allow this one to slide. They know it's happening. They have to get there in time.
They can't, John. They've got no chrono. They're gonna.
Oh.
Yeah, Gab Armel, he's caught out. Shadow Dance is there. He might be able to try and sneak this Roshan still, but it doesn't look like he's going to make it. He's going to force stuff out of there. Dreamocell has got the Aegis, and now the chains are out for Armel. And this is just very split up play from TNC. It is very, very split.
Oh, it is. Like, Armel by himself just can't do it. Like, he pops a Shadow Dance early as well because there's so much pressure in him, but it's not enough. Like, TNC need to play as a team. They will have Chrono in about 10. Maybe they can do something against this. It is... I mean, the Aegis is on Dreamocell, so they've got 3 lives in the Raid King instead of splitting it out. Maybe they can punish that by killing off the other heroes. But it looks like, boom, and they're just going to go for the slow tower chip. They've got the push with the Raid King. They've got the sustain here. They can just go across all lanes and shove it in.
Tell me, John, what does Dota Plus say without checking?
I'd say...
Hide onto Armel. 1 second, John. Armel in trouble, trying to get out of it, or rather KP, excuse me. Let's go down. Nice pick up there from Boom, and they even get the tier 2 top tower. But what were you saying about Dota Plus, John? In fact, never mind that. Dreamocell has been called out again. Has 3 lives, however, with the Aegis, and has the BKB, and he's just going to taunt his way out.
Oh, man.
70%, you say?
75 now. I'd say 75.
I'm going to say 90 plus.
All right, all right.
No, we're both
What
wrong.
does it
82. But
Wow,
you were closer.
okay.
I'll give you that.
Yeah, I'm closer. I'll take it. I'll take it. Still, 10k lead for Boom. They're kind of streaming one by one here, TNC. You got to be cautious. Again, you've got this Chrono. You've got the MKB and Gabby. You can try making a play on the high ground. I don't think you want to fight outside right now, unless you can find Boom split up, like say down bot. This could be an opportunity.
Roll in, Hyde duking out the roll, going back in onto Tims now with the toss up, and Tims, he is going to be able to save the outpost at least, but are they going to turn back around? There's a Rupture on FBZ, but he does have the Ravage. They're just waiting to see him Ravage first before they can initiate, but Gabby also has the Chrono and MKB up, but here they go. Hyde just going to jump in again onto March now. He'll commit the Poison Nova, but it won't matter because they aren't going to commit to a team fight. There appears to be some communication issues today for TNC, for sure.
Yeah.
They're just not on the same page.
It's looking rough. Like the movement's really wonky. Boom now, 10k lead. That Desolator for Mikato does come out. So the right click damage you're doing can be a lot better. The push potential can be massively improved as well once it's out from the courier. And with 3 lives, you know, Dreamocell, he doesn't have anything to be scared of. Just goes for the tier 3s.
There really is nothing to be afraid of though. Like, he's got the AC up at 1k. Doesn't even need it. 10k net worth advantage. Bloodright's going to come out. Dreamocell will just tank it. Takes the tier 3 tower out. Get 1 life here, but the Wraith Fire Blast onto KP. It's going to mean an avalanche toss out from Hyde. Dreamocell's dancing again in front of them, John.
Oh my god.
They can't even kill him. Bloodright will kill him now, surely it does. That's a reincarnation life. He still has the Aegis.
Oh, you know the worst thing about that, Mike? It's level 3 re-ink. So that's a low cooldown. He might have it up by his next set.
You'll have 3 lives. Ravage gonna come out. That'll kill off Gabby. No Chrono. Dreamer Soul still fighting Armel. Armel has to pounce. Bodrax is gone, and they've also got March on the Venomancer. Bloodright's going to come in, but it will not do enough. Armel going to move his way in, but Hyde again with a great avalanche. March, he'll buy back, but this could be the last team fight for TNC. If they can't win this one out, it's going to look real rough for him. Stims, he's trying to run out of there, but FBZ, he's onto Armel. That Slark is low, still running, does barely get out of there. Now they can try to turn this one. A nice kick back onto FBZ, but he forced us back out onto Tims. Gets the kill. Now the Hand of God in from your Chen will mean they can keep going onto Armel, onto that Slark. The Slider Fist will not be enough, and they want to get back now, Boom Esports. They'll smoke up, try to run, but Hyde again with another avalanche toss. Will get a dieback off on March. It's a 3v5 situation. Gabby, he has the chrono. He'll commit onto the Chen, but that's all he's going to get for this chrono. He can't kill off FBZ. Dreamersoul's going to run back in. FBZ will survive, and now Hyde with the avalanche toss does kill him off. Armel still trying to kill off the Tidehunter. He can't get him. Dreamersoul still dancing around. He doesn't even go for the kill. It's just complete domination out from Boom Esports. And now the Aegis wears off.
That's just insane. Hey, Boom. There's a reason why I always have a giggle when Dreamersoul gets to pick this up, Mike. His Wraith King, when it's on point, it just puts on a show. And TNC, 18k behind, 10 to 26, 1 racks down. They still have 2 set of racks. It's fair to say that they're not quite out of it, but this is a very difficult game now. It's going to be a challenge. It's going to be an extreme challenge for them, unless Boom overextends. Maybe they dive the fountain. I think you're looking at mistakes now from Boom to bounce back in, and for TNC to take an advantage. But they're not making any. They're just going for this constant push. They know they could afford to do this.
What are they going to be afraid of? Like, the AC's up now on Dreamersoul. They're even tankier than before. You don't have the Aegis. That's really it. Armel gets started, but has to pounce back out. They do get the blood right onto Dreamersoul, but now the toss back in from Hyde with the avalanche means the KP's gone. Armel going to get back in there and try to still support Essence Shift, but he's been chained up. He gets gushed, he goes down. He can buy back. I just don't know if there's a point anymore, John. They toss up Gabby. Avalanche is there. Gabby's going to die without buyback. Armel will now come back in, but this is the last-ditch effort. Makoto just going to run away. He's FBZ. He's waiting for a Ravage. He won't get it out, but Hyde has the toss back with the chains from Makoto. Armel's still trying, but the Avalanche is out, and now FBZ. Where's the Ravage, FBZ? Not yet. He doesn't need it.
No need.
No need. He just pump fakes. Armel's gone with dieback. That's it, GG. They haven't called it yet, but they may as well. So they're going to get megged. There you go.
Ooh. Boom.
Yeah, I mean,
what did they put in their coffee, man?
Monster, John. Plenty of it.
Oh, man. TNC. I mean, in the groups, it was a 1-1. But I didn't, Booms, we said they tend to surprise us. Historically, this is still slightly TNC favored. I didn't expect them to be so dominant. They cleaned up their act. Such clean gameplay. At some point, you and I kind of expect maybe Boom oversteps, maybe they get overconfident. None of that here. It was just completely disciplined play across 2 games. Wonderful performance. TNC, they're not out of it. They will have to play another match later down the day. They've still got a chance to climb up. But you're not going to be feeling good going down to the lower bracket. You're still in the game, though. So we'll just have to watch and see what TNC does.
I'm not really sure what happened to TNC, though. Like, it just seems like a communication issue. Every team fight throughout Game 1 and Game 2, they just weren't on the same page every single time. Yeah. So let's hope they get that sorted before tonight, John. Because like you mentioned, they do have another series. And although it is up against new Esports, they looked great yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Ended up 2-0-ing 4-9-6. They are a dangerous team. So TNC are going to need to get it together. Otherwise, they could be kicked out of the tournament today. We'll find out. We'll leave that for later on. We do have another series coming up before that, and that is going to be Motivate Trust versus Neon Esports in the lower bracket round of 2. That should be a pretty good one, as these 2 teams really go at it when they are up against each other, and it should be a very close matchup between the 2. See how that one pans out. It is MLP Dota and JohnXFire. We'll see you all again in about 10 minutes for that second best of 3.